outstanding as well with the NFL mock draft. But real quick, wrestling. Rock, inexcusable you not being at the pay-per-view. Come on, man. $30 million they're giving you, show up. All right. Back to the draft, NFL mock draft. The last one that's coming to draft is tomorrow, the first round. Tomorrow, all weekend, Friday night, and then Saturday, the rounds 4 through 7. Let's take a look at how the round 1 works. Going to go through it a little bit here as well. I think there's a lot of just stuff out there. Now we're really in the bluff season, so there's a lot of stuff out there that just isn't true, that just is out there. A lot of smoke screens and things like that. So that's definitely a lot of stuff that's out there.
I didn't say now.
Cam Ward, number 1. I think we can pretty much put that in pin. The Titans have not been fielding anything for them. All indications are going to be that they are going to take Cam Ward with the number 1 pick. I don't think there's any question about it as well. So Cam Ward is going to be the number 1 pick in the draft on Thursday night rather. So definitely Titans fans familiar with a guy who can run the football and throw. Not quite as big as a Steve McNair, but I'm sure that's what they're going to be thinking about whenever they see Cam Ward run out of the tunnel in Tennessee. Shedeur Sanders, I still have him to more and more. I'm hearing Travis Hunter. I'm kind of thinking that the Browns aren't this silly. They really don't have a quarterback at all. They signed Joe Flacco this week. They did go ahead and sign their head, Kenny Pickett. Adam keeps saying how Kenny Pickett won a Super Bowl last year. I'm just kind of not buying that. I don't think I think they can't do it. I think what they could be doing, I think they could take one later. Unless you like one of the other quarterbacks, I do think they're going to take Shedeur. I heard they're open for business. I actually kind of believe that because teams usually are. Like, unless you're like Tennessee and you for sure taking a quarterback with a number 1 picker, you're absolutely filling a need. I absolutely believe that's what they're going to do. But I still think it's Shedeur for the Browns at 2. Travis Hunter 3. Travis Hunter, I think, is the number 1 player in the draft. I think the Giants would absolutely love to take a Travis Hunter. Word is he's going to play more wide receiver than corner. I don't think it matters. I think he's a stud on both sides. I think Travis Hunter, has incredible speed, ability to take the ball away as a DB. I think he'd be fantastic. I think he'd be fantastic as a receiver. I think you put him on either side. I think he is tremendous. If the Browns do take him, I can tell you they are going to get a really good player. I mean, so that's not crazy, not bashing Travis, but they have no quarterback to get the ball to him. But Travis, I think, at 3. Abdul Carter is 4. A lot of people think that the Patriots are going to take an offensive lineman. They absolutely have to do it because it absolutely is a weakness. But Abdul Carter, I think, is top 4. He's not going to dip past 5, right? If all these other players are gone, I think Abdul Carter is going to go ahead and be the number 4 pick. Mason Graham, I think, is a top 3 player in the draft. I think the Jaguars definitely need it. Ward and Graham, you can pretty much chalk those in. I think those are picks. I think you can pretty much, I think the Carter, Hunter, they're going to go high. Ward, we know. And where's Shedeur going to go? What's left? But I think Mason Graham is going to go 5. No matter what the Browns do, I think that's I think that's going to be it. I think the Patriots do go O-line if Hunter and if Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter are gone. So I definitely think that. Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders. I think this is a typical Al Davis pick. The shout out to the late Al Davis, Mark Davis. They love taking these offensive linemen, not offensive linemen, skill players. Jeanty, I think there is a pretty big gap between him and everybody else in terms of running back in the draft. And this is a bag full of good running backs. So I do think there is room there, but I think Jeanty, is definitely the pick there. Tyler Warren at tight end for the Jets. I think Warren is going to be taken high. And again, another team, if you had to just pick it just based on need, probably the number one need for the Jets is offensive line. I don't think the linemen in this draft are super great. They can definitely find one, I think, a little bit later, but you're not going to find a Tyler Warren later. Tyler Warren, I think, is going to be the number one tight end in the draft. You're not going to find a Tyler Warren next draft or whatever. Tyler Warren is number 7. Terry McMillan. Different opinion on McMillan. I think he's the number one wide receiver in the draft. It's curious, though. He's so wide open in college. He is the best one at route running, finding spots in the zone, whatever. Can he actually do that at the next level? But he did it so well in college, you definitely have to put him in the cut above. He can see the whole field as a receiver. But it's interesting to see. Panthers absolutely need a number one receiver for Bryce Young. I think that is a weakness. They have a running back. They definitely need a number one receiver for Bryce Young. So McMillan, I think, at 8. Will Johnson to the Saints. Hearing the quarterback rumors more and more, I think if something was really wrong with Carr, and there may be, but I'm just hearing rumors. How is it your starting quarterback is out for the season and like no one knows yet? Like it's so serious. Like so, maybe they're keeping this under wrap. If they take a quarterback that's something, I don't think one will be there anyway. I think Dart. I think this is too high. I don't think they're going to do that. Will Johnson, I think at number 9. I think Will Johnson might be the best pure cover corner in the draft. I don't think there's any question about it with Will Johnson, number 9. Bears definitely take a need. Will Campbell. Will Campbell is basically known as the best offensive lineman in the draft. Again, I've said it every time with Will Campbell. I don't think he is. I think he's the best pass protecting tackle in the draft. I think he's very good at that, but he's not as good as nasty in the run game as well. But I think the Bears definitely have a need. So the Bears at 10, taking Will Campbell. I did the first mock with this guy here, and now I got the last one, Javon Walker. So if Kenny's watching this, I'm sure he's a thrill with Javon Walker taking the edge here. Definitely reminds me a lot of Peter Boulware. He's going to bend the edge. You put him on the other side with Bosa. That's definitely a team with a lot of holes now. Niners definitely have a lot of holes and a lot of issues, but definitely taking a play like it. This is plug and play. This guy's going to start right away. He's going to be productive right away, especially on the side with Bosa. Plug and play. I think he's the second best edge rusher in the draft next to Abdul Carter. I think no question about it here. Jalen Walker, I think you got to do it. Cowboys, I think could take a Marion Hampton of North Carolina. Hampton, I think they would absolutely love it if they take Genty here. I think if Genty, for whatever reason, falls this far, or I think if he gets close, they may trade up for him. But I think Marion Hampton is a solid running back. Run him right up the middle. Definitely a guy, very strong. Like you can run. You don't need a lot of fancy stuff with him at all. Run straight up the middle. You can absolutely use him. Cowboys have to do it. Have to take a running back. Marion probably a little high, but I think you can do it here. And they need it. They really need running back. Maybe a receiver if it's McMillan is still on the board, but Hampton I think is the choice. Armand Membu from Arizona. Membu, I think, again, I think the group thing kind of likes him more than I've seen. I think he's more of a right tackle, very good in the run game. But I don't like him as well pass blocking. I think you could kick him in the guard and he'd be really good. I think he's really, really good in the run game. I think that's not overstated when people say they like him in the run game. He's pretty good in the run game. So I can't really argue that too much. I definitely think he's going to get taken high. And the Dolphins have a huge need. Dolphins absolutely need to more. As much as you always say you need to protect quarterback, Dolphins absolutely do need to protect quarterback because their quarterback is very injury prone. So they can't ever get enough of offensive tackles. John Campbell, linebacker, Alabama. So I think they would have loved Tyler Warren here with the Colts. The other need they have is linebacker. Campbell's moving up the boards here. I think there's no question how good he's been, but as some of these other guys move off the board, a big need for the Colts is linebacker. So Zaire Franklin has some issues there. I think definitely you can't go wrong. This guy is a guy. Again, I think you talk about guys who are going to start right away. He's going to start right away for the Colts. So definitely the best inside linebacker pure in the draft. I think Jai Campbell, 14 for the Colts, a need absolutely for them. Shamar Stewart, the edge for the Falcons. I think I've mocked the Falcons with the edge every time. I absolutely think that they're going to take an edge. Bit of a roll of a dice here because the production in college, considering his measurables and everything we saw at the combine, wasn't as good as they had hoped. But Stewart, I think, is fantastic in terms of his athleticism. Can it translate into sacks? Definitely first round physicality, first round grade, first round upside. Upside is tremendous. Definitely going to a team that needed. He's going to get every opportunity in Atlanta. Here's a guy. Now, measurables aren't as good, but the production on the field was good. Cardinals take Mike Green, edge for Marshall, thundering your herd in West Virginia. For those of you that didn't know, small school guy, very impressive at the Senior Bowl. I really always look at the Senior Bowl as when guys play well. Very, very impressive at the Senior Bowl as well. Very productive in college. This is the productivity now. So you talk about Stewart, a guy with the production, with the potential, the body type, this is the productivity. So Mike Green, I think, is productive. Issues with Hendry, there. Cardinals need a couple things, but I think this is a guy you can take in the middle of first round. Mikael Williams, edge, Georgia. He can stop the run. I think I like him as much as any of the guys I've seen. Maybe not the boom pass rusher right away. I don't know about that. Maybe, but I think definitely stopping the run is definitely a guy. It's definitely a guy who can set the edge. A 3-4 or a team like that really would use him would be good. I think if he plays on the other side of Hendrickson, that'd be your best bet. So you can have Anderson kind of collapse the packet and have this guy kind of set the edge. I think that would be perfect. I think it's a perfect fit for him on the Bengals. Mikael Williams, I definitely think this would be a great pick for the Bengals. Tyler Booker, really like him. Look, going wrong with Alabama offensive lineman doesn't happen very often. So Tyler Booker, I think, is definitely best offensive guard. I think in the draft, I don't think there's anybody else, any other guards, interior guys you take in the first round. Booker is nasty. Booker is going to you're going to put him in the pass game. If your team that throws all the time, you can absolutely use him. You're going to run all the time. You can absolutely use him. Definitely, I think a guy absolutely has the ability to start right away. Tyler Booker. Malachi Starks for the Georgia Bulldogs. Starks, I think, is a class by itself. I see Brian Dawkins might be overstating it, but he has all those tools like a Brian Dawkins. Hits really hard, covers well, has the ability to take the ball away. Yeah, I see all those things with Malachi Starks. Not quite as good last year as he was the year before. A little bit of a drop. Maybe I think teams also too were not throwing at him, so maybe partially he wasn't productive. But Starks, I think, is the good. There's no question about it. Colston Loveland, tight end for Michigan. Loveland, I'm pretty high on as well. I think like the Broncos definitely need a tight end. They have the histories. We'll talk about former Bronco tight end Shannon Sharp in this pocket. But definitely he's a guy that is downfield. I like him downfield the best out of all the tight ends. He's a guy that's definitely downfield catching the football. So I like Colston Loveland there as well. I got the Steelers doing it. Jackson Dart, quarterback, Ole Miss. We're still winning on Aaron, apparently. Dart, I'm not as high on as some other people. I think like this group after Sanders, the quarterbacks are kind of all lumped together. I don't love his arm talent. I think he kind of reminds me, I kind of put him in comical in the same category. Does a lot of stuff right, but I don't know if the arm is going to get it at the NFL level. I think the difference between him and McCord is he's a more of the prototypical size, etc. That's why I think teams are higher on him. I do think the Steelers do it. Thing is, with the Steelers, no second round pick. So if they are going to take a quarterback, they can't wait. Right? So they're going to have to take it in the first round. Matt Golden, I think, the Texas wide receiver, I think, blazing speed. Very good compliment to Ladd McConkey. You get Matt Golden at the one receiver, and you get Ladd McConkey at the other one. So you got a guy who's kind of a possession guy, a slot guy. You can put him over the middle field, McConkey, and you got the burner. You want to take the ball upfield, and you get Matt Golden with his 4.3 speed, some of the best speed at the combine. I think moved him up. Jahdae Barron is my favorite player in the draft. Absolutely, Barron, I think, is a phenomenal defensive player. He's the only reason he's behind. I think in a lot of drafts he'd be the top guy, but Travis Hunter is really good. Will Johnson is really good. I don't think like right away if you put him on Chase and Jefferson man to man, not quite the stud of those other guys, but everything else is there. Takes the ball in the other way. Receivers, I want corners that are going to be the Marcus Peters that are going to take the ball and take it the other way. So Barron, I think the Packers are going to love Jahdae Barron. Absolutely. Kenneth Grant, Michigan, for the Vikings, definitely filling a need, the tackle as well. Vikings, I still can't believe they're going with McCarthy. They're going to go ahead and do that. So they have some food. They got a few holes to fill like this. I mean, they got some work to do. I think getting a player like this is absolutely be a good move. Grant, Chargers might take him. The familiarity with Harbaugh as well. I thought about that, but I think that the Chargers take the receiver and the Vikings go Grant here. A couple more. Josh Simmons, Ohio State tackle. Absolutely need at all cost tackles for Ohio State. There's nothing wrong with that. Simmons, I think, would be higher in the draft had he not had the injury. The injuries concerns, and not just last year. He's had some injury concerns. Talent is absolutely there. They absolutely need it, though, the Texans. I think the Texans, they have to take an offensive line. I mean, they were really not on one. Greg Zabel. I had somebody say I misspelled it before. So there you go. So Greg Zabel got there you go. North Dakota State. Another guy, stock rose big time at the Senior Bowl. Have him at guard, played tackle in North Dakota State. I think he can play tackle. Tackle, I think Zabel, this is the Rams, I think, is good for any offensive lineman. I don't think they ask them to do too much there. I love the system that they have. The Rams don't make a lot of mistakes. I think this is a guy who absolutely would fit the Rams system. Sean McVay, one of the better offensive coaches, Greg Zabel. I think they absolutely do it. Ravens, Kelvin Banks. Banks, I think is the best offensive tackle in this draft. Definitely nasty. I know why the league doesn't like him, because when you talk about a left tackle, he's not as good of a pass blocker as you would hope. That's why I think teams are overlooking him. But he's a nasty streak. He pushes people back in the run game. Perfect fit for the Ravens, who like to run the ball all the time with Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. You said, well, why is he going to play? He's going to play at guard with the Ravens, at least initially. I think you could put him at guard, but I think the Ravens see him on the board and they take him. I don't think they do that. Defensive tackle for the Ravens, I think, is actually in play. Derek Harmon and Nolan, I think that's definitely got. I don't know how they feel about the tackles, but I definitely think they absolutely need a guy like Banks. I think if he's on the board, they take him. Donovan Azerbu for Boston College. I think defensive end, I think, has been defensive line for the Lions. I think every time. I think that is definitely the need for them. You're hoping to get Aiden Hutchinson back. Team just maybe missing a part, getting a partner, getting Hutchinson back. I think it's a great fit for him. James Pierce, edge, Tennessee. Defense. I think like this on offense, they have some help there. They went ahead and got Tunzel in the offseason. They got Jaden Daniels as a starting to making. They need help on defense. I think that's the thing. Best player on the board. This is kind of how I look at the Bills. They have a lot there. And look, best player on the board here is Derek Harmon. Is a guy who might be one of the best defensive tackles in the draft. You could argue, I think, either him or Mason Graham. Harmon, I think, is going to go a little bit lower as well, a little bit below Graham, but somebody might take him higher. I think Harmon has that type of talent as well. Big guys always in Oregon. Speaking of Oregon, big guys that you brought it up, Josh Connolly for offensive tackle. Chefs needed tackle. Offensive line issues. The only reason they haven't won in last year is their offensive line. I've mocked them. I think offensive line. Going to keep mocking them. The last one we're going to do offensive line. He's good with his hands. He's good with his hands. I think he's probably the best pass blocker pure as well. Not as good in the run game, which is why he's lower in the draft. But at 32, Walter Nolan, Ole Miss. Look, Eagles, O-line, D-line all the time. So unless they have a real skill player need sometimes, like which they don't right now. O-line, D-line, Walter Nolan, I think, is the best offensive line, best defensive lineman on the board. They take Nolan in the first round. There you go. The NFL draft. All right, so we're going to go over the Ravens, but one more time, we'll be here 7:30 tomorrow before and after the draft. And I don't know yet if the driving the top is going to be on this channel or not, but it very well could. So we'll go ahead and check that out. So definitely check that out as we go over the draft analysis there as well. We did the whole league first. I don't know if I put that up. Now we're going to do our squad, the Ravens. So the Ravens have 11 picks. They haven't traded them. Will they go ahead and trade Mark Andrews tomorrow? We don't know. Word is maybe rumors Odafe Oweh may be out there as well. Certainly there would be interest in him. So how much would that change the draft with Oweh moving? So we'll see. But the Ravens, this is the last one, the mock draft for the Baltimore Ravens 2025. We just talked about Kelvin Banks. I think offensive tackle is his spot. I think I like him in the run game. I think you can absolutely put him at guard if he's there. Ravens would absolutely be happy to have him there. Justin Pugh, I think of the Giants. That's kind of the comp when I see him. Justin Pugh's kind of the same guy, like kind of a guy, good in the run game. Had maybe not a stud right away, maybe not a stud for his whole career, but good in the run game, good solid offensive starting lineman. I think that's exactly what the Ravens are looking for. Number 2, Xavier Watts from Notre Dame, Fighting Irish. Ben Morrison and Xavier Watts were so big time to the Irish this year. And Xavier Watts, I got a feeling Ravens are taking a safety. I can't get past what EDC said about drafting a safety, needing help at safety. I absolutely think that's a thing. Landon Collins is a guy I think they absolutely that you can compare a Xavier Watts to, a guy, a complete safety. Like Landon Collins, and I think that's true of Xavier Watts. I don't think you draft a Xavier Watts and worry about anything as well. You're going to have a Darius, so I think there will be real competition if you went ahead and signed Xavier Watts there as well. That would be the only reason they wouldn't take a safety, is they really want to start a Darius early. But if you bring in Xavier Watts, but I'm thinking that a safety would be pretty early in this draft. Omar Norman Lotz for the Tennessee Tigers. So this is Malik Collins, I think, is the comparison with him. Undersized, quick linebacker, quick defensive tackle. Perfect for a team with a 3-4. So definitely you could put him at DN. So you have Matabuke there. You have Broderick Washington. And you're talking about pushing a little Broderick Washington there. It's absolutely true when you bring in an Omar Norman Lott as well. Great speed on the inside, a little undersized, about 290-ish, but definitely a guy I think the Ravens have to. You're going to have to come out of this some kind of way with 2 defensive tackles. You have 2 needs. You had probably Brent Urban retiring, and you absolutely have Michael Pierce already retired. So definitely that is a thing to look at. Round 3, nothing wrong with the SEC. Chris Paul is not the son of the great NBA player Chris Paul. That would have been a cool story, but that's not the case. So you do the comp Zaire Franklin as well. This guy sifts through traffic outstandingly. I think like his ability to get to the ball, get to near the line of scrimmage is very, very good. He is a little undersized linebacker. I don't know if you could call it that nowadays. Linebackers are second level, but definitely you could absolutely put him next to a Roquan Smith, and it absolutely would work. But he's just got that nose for the ball. He's got enough athleticism. The only thing wrong with him, I like to see him a little bit more thunder when he gets there. That's the only thing with him, but he absolutely gets to the football, tackles near the line of scrimmage. I think that's his strength. I think he has good speed as well, so he's got some I think he can work in coverage. That's typical anyway, frankly, with a young linebacker. They're usually not as good in coverage. But I absolutely think this is a guy, good upside. Zaire Franklin, I think, having Chris Paul there. Kick returner, Silas Bolden for the Texas Longhorns. So we know about Matt Golden and his speed. Silas Bolden, I think this is more a guy who can handle the kick punt return duties for the Ravens. He'll play receiver. Don't get me wrong. I don't think for sure that he won't play any receiver, probably a fourth receiver, but I think he can absolutely hit it there as a fourth receiver. But this is a guy who absolutely is going to be starting kick punt returner for the Ravens. No question about it. If you go ahead and sign him, tremendous speed, tremendous acceleration. Guys who are good on the punt return, kick return, accelerate in a hurry. He does accelerate in a hurry. Videos watching him, fantastic. Absolute great speed. Not as productive. I think this is why he's in the fourth round. But Bolin, I love this pick. Great, fantastic speed. Dexter McCluster, I think, is absolutely good comp. Small, like 5'7", 5'8", great speed. Going to be great on special teams. Maybe he can help you in the slot. Zion Alexander for the LSU Tigers, big physical corner. I think that's absolutely it. So you got Nate Wiggins with the speed. I think he's going to be maybe competing with a TJ Tampa for that spot. Big physical guy. Cam Dantzler, kind of the same. A guy who can really get his hands on you. Long. You see the long arms there in the video, in the picture. This is a guy absolutely in the fifth round. Lots of potential. I think he could be coached up. I think he's better in zone too. I think so many teams now play zone all the time. I think including the Ravens. So I think Zion Alexander is a good pick here late. Absolutely. Edge. Ravens are usually taking guys. They like taking these guys in these middle rounds. You listen to EDC, how excited he gets. Well, middle round, he loves to take guys in the middle rounds. Baron Soul, Edge, Texas, another Texas guy. Here's a guy, absolutely, Bryce Huff. He, a little inconsistent. So I think that's the reason why he's higher, a little small. So I think that's the truth. But I think the production is enough there. I think definitely he can absolutely help you third downs right away. Put him in third down, put him in. He absolutely has the potential to be a guy down the line, I think, who can be a starter. You do now possibly issue with Oweh what's going to happen. They're going to have to make a decision here pretty soon. So I'd be shocked if they didn't take a pass rusher in the middle rounds. I'd be very surprised. Luke Kandra for the Cincinnati Bearcats. Reminds me of Ben Powers. Reminds me a lot of Ben Powers in terms of on the field and what he does. I think like he can have a very similar career. I don't know if he starts right away, but definitely he's a guy. He's going to make the roster. I got to tell you, too, watching him, he smiles a lot. Like, what is that? What does that have to do with anything? He looks like he's enjoying playing football. That's a real thing. You can kind of even see that when I see him. Every time you get a photo of Ben Kandra, Luke Kandra, he's smiling. You see him on the field, he's smiling. You see him he's smiling every time. So he's enjoying the game. I think he's definitely a guy who can develop as a guard. Got to get stronger. I think it's always the case here at Elite, where a guy, like, unless he's a real mauler type, he's got to get a little stronger. But like him in the zone blocking as well. I think I was very impressed with that. I think definitely the Ravens absolutely have use for that. So he won't be a Daniel Falele situation where he doesn't know how to zone block. He'll know how to zone block when he comes in. Riley Mills from the Notre Dame Irish. So we had Xavier Watts here earlier, Riley Mills as well. This guy reminds me of Brent Urban. He's wearing the number 99 when I see him. This absolutely can be a replacement for Brent Urban. We don't know if he's going to come back, but the guy hustle. To me, like I've seen him, the fact that he had productivity, there's all this pressure like in boxing too, more will and skill. That's what this guy is, and I mean that as a compliment. Like he's technically not refined, not that big, not super quick, but man, he just is in the backfield a lot for a guy with those type of traits. So it reminds me a lot of Brent Over, kind of the same. He'll be great in practice. He'll be great hustling. Riley Mills, I think, played at a big school, used to playing a good competition. Number 6 as well. They're going to need a couple linemen. I can't emphasize that enough. Maybe they only carry – they need at least 2. If they decide to carry 6, they may need more than that. I don't know if they do that. They've been carrying 5 linemen here, so we'll see. Upton Stout from the Western Kentucky, I think it's Hilltoppers as well. Fun guy to watch on film. Super small. I think great speed. He's not big. It'll be fascinating to see how he does at the pro level. But he kind of reminds me of when I see not Bro Braid, but Cecily Kane. That's what I was thinking about. Cecily Kane. Not the size doesn't stop him from getting physical in the run game. And that was also impressive. He's small. He's got quick. He kind of reminds me, I think the high end for him is former Ravens Seahawk Josh Wilson. I think he can handle himself on the outside. I think he's got strength. He's got the ability to go ahead and challenge a guy as well. The height is going to bother him against some corner, against some of the taller guys, the Justin Jefferson types and things like that. There are going to be some coaches that say, well, we got to leave him in the slot all the time. But I tell you, this guy has got a little fight in him in the run game as well. So he's got great speed and physicality. Small, though. I don't know if he's big enough to be an outside corner where you put him on an island. I think that's it. That's why he's back here. And he played at a small school. But potential is absolutely there. And Tyler Loop. I think Justin Tucker is going to be ex-Raven. Tyler Loop for the Wildcats of Arizona. I think there are about 4 kickers in the draft as well that we really liked. I think Loop, you take it a little bit back here late in the draft, but Loop, I think, is Rising or Robbie Gould. I think that there is a comparison as well. I don't know if he has the deep ball that a